What's going on, guys? Check out this sick ass combi van shirt that I got for Chrissy. It's your favorite ginger boy over here. I got a story for you all, and this actually follows on from the Christmas present that can tear families apart that I did yesterday. Don't mind the laundry in the back. It is just all part and parcel of being at home, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I discovered that I'm expecting, and I know the child isn't my husband's. This is an Ask Ellie. You know, one of those columns where they ask advice from people? Sometimes the advice isn't so great, but they still ask it anyway. It's one of those ones. I'm happily married and believe my hubby's attracted to me just as I find him to be a great husband. Best friend, fantastic lover, and my most strident supporter during challenging times. So it sounds like he's a pretty good dude. He's a pretty good dude, and you know, he gives her great sex. He's a great friend to her. He's a great husband to her, and he supports her through the hard times. Everything you could want in a guy, right? But the next sentence throws everything into a state of disarray. I'm late 20s and fear my biological clock's ticking away. Do you think you can guess where this is going, guys? I've been trying to get pregnant for 5 years. We've tried fertility procedures, including IVF treatment, unsuccessfully. The doctors informed us that my husband's sperm can't aid conception for various reasons. I've raised adoption or foster parenting, but he's not eager about alternative options to raise children. I became depressed. I didn't seek help because I didn't want anyone else to know how we felt. My husband and I distanced after we accepted that we couldn't have our own children. I found solace and comfort in other men, which led to sexual intimacy. I know it was wrong and feel terrible, but I ultimately decided to face the future with hope and courage. I had newfound love for my husband. Shortly after those extramarital encounters, I discovered that I'm expecting. I told my hubby and both our extended families, who were all overjoyed. My hubby was thrilled that he had defeated all the odds. Privately, I knew this child isn't his because I had unprotected intercourse with some of those men. Also, some were of a different race than I am. My husband and I are of the same race and cultural ethnicity. My biggest fear: if the unborn child is of mixed race, this will cause a firestorm and surely contribute to shame, embarrassment, and humiliation for us and our respective families. Now, I mean, the reality is, guys, that when a biological clock is ticking and the lady wants to have a child, she's going to have a child. You don't really get a say in the matter. And that's quite normal. That's actually part of our neurological and biological evolution, right? That's just how it's always been, right? Way back to caveman days, it's always been like this. Just that at one stage, someone had an idea that we could, you know, sign a piece of paper and put a ring on each other's finger, and all of a sudden none of this would be an issue anymore. But that is not an issue. Baby rabies is a real thing, right? And it does actually have pretty heavy impacts, right? And I mean, to be fair, she did try to conceive with this guy and she couldn't. So, you know, if she can't conceive with him, then the next best thing. I mean, I got to question why, if she was going out to conceive with someone else and she couldn't conceive with her husband, why she would risk having unprotected sex with someone who was a different nationality, where it would be blatantly obvious that there had been infidelity. I don't get the logic behind that, but then again, biology is not logical at all. It doesn't discriminate. Here we go. And I mean, I don't know why she didn't think about the fact that it might, and I quote, surely contribute to shame, embarrassment, and humiliation for us and our respective families if she did have unprotected sex while ovulating with someone of a different race. I mean, I would have thought that would be something that you might want to take into account, but clearly not. Anyway, I'll continue with the article, guys. After several medical consultations, I was informed that it's too late in the pregnancy to have an abortion. I have no choice but to carry on with my pregnancy to term. It kills me to see my ecstatic hubby booking time off from work and working in a nursery for the baby. I just cannot muster up the bravado to tell my husband what really happens. What should I do? Terrified mum-to-be. And look, you know, I mean, I can understand why she's terrified to tell the guy. I mean, what if it, you know, I don't know. What can I say? What can I say? So the advice that she's been given is start mustering, just like you found renewed courage and hope after your depression and period of promiscuity. You now have 2 other lives to consider besides your own. Wise words. The innocent baby you're carrying is entitled to a future no matter your past behavior. That's true. That's true. You and your husband must find the integrity, responsibility, and compassion within yourselves to assure this child is raised in a happy, welcoming home, whether yours or another's. You need to tell him the truth immediately. So where does her husband, why must her husband find the integrity, responsibility, and compassion to assure the child's raised in a happy, welcoming home? Right? I mean, look, for argument's sake, let's assume that they're both very white, like me. And one of the guys she's had unprotected sex with is a really dark dude, right? Whether he be South American, or whether he be African, or whether he be, you know, Italian or Greek, or another nationality that's quite olive-skinned or darker skinned, whatever the case may be. Why must he find the integrity? Why must he find the responsibility? And why must he find the compassion? See, this is just another example of guys being shamed into having to take responsibility for things that they shouldn't have to take responsibility for. I've got to be honest. I don't think that is fair. And I'm sure you would all agree with me on that point. Even any ladies watching this stream right now, I'm sure you would agree. And if you don't, then you're probably a radical feminist and you should just go away, because we don't have any time for your bullshit. If he's all that you say, oh, here we go. Right, saying, oh, if he's as good as you say, then he will take responsibility for someone else's child and he will be a good dad and he will just grin it and bear it. And he'll like it because he should. Because, you know, men need to take responsibility for other people's actions. If he's all that you say, he may be able to forgive you due to the stressful circumstances that caused your low period and reckless actions. Well, at least this lady is acknowledging that her actions were reckless. If so, he may have the character that allows him to raise this child with you as a loving father. Wait. He may have the character, right? He may have the character. I just want to read this word for word and get you to really think about this. If so, he may, not will, if he does it, he may have the character. So he might be a good man, right? That allows him to raise this child with you as a loving father. So it's almost like she's saying, well, if he's as good a man as you say he is, then he might be worthy of raising someone else's child as a loving father. Because if he's not a loving father, then he's a misogynist and he's a bastard and he doesn't deserve your time. If not, he may ask you to place the child for adoption. That's when you have to decide if you can give up your own child. See, it's both people's responsibility. So it's the responsibility of the dude who didn't father the child, as well as the mother. But when it comes to the child belonging to someone, it's the mother's child, and only she has the option to give it up. That's when you have to decide if you can give up your own child, something you wanted so desperately. These are tough decisions that must be made rather than wait. To anticipate a firestorm from your families over a mixed-race child and the facts of the conception is sad, but not the main issue here. You'll need even more courage to raise the child alone, but it can be done if you have the will. However, if your husband, despite the initial shock and hurt, joins you in raising this baby, you two will set a new tone for respect, acceptance, and unconditional love. Especially him having unconditional love for a child that isn't his, that he'll still have to pay for, still have to raise, and all of that stuff. Here we go. Here's the tip of the day, right, from this advice column. Confessing infidelity is painful for everyone involved, but necessary when a child's life is at question. You know what? I got to agree with that. I'm not going to dispute that tip. I think it is wise words indeed. And thank you so much to my generous brother, Riff Magos, for that $10 donation. Sydney's, I really need a couple of cold beers during this stinking heat front. Oh, Riff, you got that right, brother. It's 44 fucking degrees Celsius here right now. And if you guys in the US are wondering how much 44 degrees Celsius, I'm just going to tell you how much that is. 44 degrees Celsius, that's Fahrenheit. It is 111 degrees Fahrenheit here right now. That's some hot shit right there. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all for tuning in. And again, just understand that biology does not discriminate, right? If a woman wants a child and her biological clock is ticking, that's what's going to happen. She's going to go and find someone else to have a child with. If she can't have a child with the person she wants to have a child with, right? She will find as good a breeding stock as she can that is also fertile. And, you know, I'm not having a go at ladies here, right? Before marriage came along, before this concept of monogamy came along, it was just always like this. So, you know, don't hate the player, hate the game, guys. It is what it is. On that note, I'm out of here. I'm going to get out of this stinking heat. I made the trek. Well, it's not really a trek. It's like 5-10 meters. But I came outside in this 111 degree Fahrenheit heat, or that 44 degrees Celsius heat, to do this video for you guys today, because I love you all and I appreciate you all, ladies and gentlemen. I will catch you in the next video. Merry Christmas. If you do want to donate to the Sydney Christmas Fund, paypal.me/Sydney MGTOW, or you can join up on Patreon, or just support me by any of the other ways down the bottom. And I've got some cool posts coming up. I know I've been talking about these. I have been working on my blog, sydneymgtow.com. I'm looking forward to bringing you a couple of cool articles. So see you very, very soon. All right, man, I'll appreciate you all, and I'll catch you again very, very soon. Peace.